Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
I think that Ghana has the human resources to be able to deal with the situation and turn things around as quickly as possible.
It's barely 24 hours into the John Mahama's presidency, and Greco reports of impending doomsday in the coming days. If nothing urgent is done, government requires some 1 billion cedis to avert the imminent power crisis, leaving no breathing space for the infant government. Meanwhile, a technical committee set up by the Mahama team to review the situation presents its report today. Also coming up.
And this is how the NDC organizer did on the 8th of December in Ablekuma.
Collation for Ablekuma North constituency is still ongoing as the two parties now appear to be sparring over some 3 polling station pink sheets. More later. Still on Eyewitness News, more post-election violence occurs as some suspected NDC youth storm Valco, Temakokobon, and a few other government offices across the country, demanding suspected MPP elements or persons in those offices to leave. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Government misses 2024 inflation target as December figure increases marginally to 23.8%.
There is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. In the Western region, this is Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, this is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Shanti region, Adrimpa 99.9 FM at Inkaria. In the Volta region, this is Heritage 107.3 FM in Hoho, and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. In the Northern region, this is Radio Gaki 88.3 in Saboba. In the Upper East, Quality 88.7 FM at Garu. And the Northeast, Nobia 98.1 FM at Narilugu. Your comments are welcome via WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Selom Adunu. The hashtag, as always, is City Newsroom. How gives us the very first story.
Now, tensions heightened during the collation of parliamentary results for the Ablekuma North constituency as agents from the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and the New Patriotic Party, NPP, clashed over the credibility of Pink Sheet. Out of the 20 outstanding polling stations ahead of the collation exercise on Monday, January 6, presiding officers verified 13 pink sheets submitted by the NPP. However, the returning officer, Vincent Obeng, revealed that the Electoral Commission had been unable to contact presiding officers for the remaining 7 polling stations, leading to the suspension of the exercise for the day. The situation escalated into a brawl when NDC agents accused the Electoral Commission and the NPP of plotting to rig the election in favor of the NPP's candidate, Efua Efiye. Now, away from that, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, is urging parents to provide their children with adequate provisions to address the ongoing feeding challenges in senior high schools. CHAS called on the Ministry of Education to urgently disperse outstanding funds to ensure smooth operation of the schools nationwide. It warned that the continued financial shortfalls could disrupt academic work and affect student welfare. The conference also expressed concern over delays in food supplies to schools, adding that parental support is critical in mitigating the situation. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Musa, is urging President John Dramani Mahama to focus on equity rather than equality in implementing the free senior high school policy. Speaking to City News, Mr. Musa stressed the importance of fair resource distribution to address disparities among schools and students. He believes such measures are crucial for achieving sustainable improvement in the education sector. Now, the paramount chief of Keta, Togwi James Oklu V, has expressed disappointment in former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for not fulfilling his promise to construct a port in Keta, although work on the project began in 2019 with the appointment of a director. The office buildings remain at the foundation stage. Speaking to Citi News, Togwi Oklu criticized the lack of progress and urged President John Dramani Mahama to continue the project and create jobs.
Now, let's go back to the Ablekuma North constituency, or the Collation Center for the Ablekuma North constituency, where tensions have remained high over the period. The indication is that the EC has halted the collation exercise, and we will want to go to the phone lines and speak to the NDC's Deputy Director for Elections and IT, Dr. Rashid Tanko, computer, to help us appreciate really what the situation is from their side of things. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What is the situation from your side? You can report on the collation of the results from the Ablekuma North constituency. Well, I'm afraid I don't have Dr. Tanko, but earlier our reporter, Hansen Ajiman, he's actually there, and he sent us some sights, some sounds really from the coalition.
Yes, it will never happen. I said it will never happen here. It will never happen here. It will never happen here. This will never happen here. Let me address my issue. This will never happen. Stop what you're doing. My brother, it will never happen. Hey, this will never happen.
This is how the NDC organizer did on the 8th of December in Ablekuma North. All the TV stations, you are seeing the way
here at the Secretary Office of the NDC and the police adjutant.
All right, so you heard sounds of a chaotic scene at the Collation Center for the Ablekuma North constituency. There were over 62 polling station pink sheets, which were to be collated to add to the ones previously done to declare a winner. But as we speak, we understand all of them have been collated, in exception of 3, and those 3 appear to be the issues now. The NDC, we understand, is saying that those 3, they cannot authenticate those 3, and the EC is having a difficult time doing same. And so it does appear that that is a major reason why the exercise is being halted, and the EC is doing its best to bring the parties back to the table to make cool heads prevail, so that that particular constituency's results can be declared, so that the people in Ablekuma North can have a parliamentary member of parliament. Let's go to the phone lines and speak to our correspondent, Hansen Ajiman, who has been at the place and watching events. Hello, Hansen. Good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News.
We may see the Electoral Commission coming in with a determination. It looks like the decision has been made, but we are yet to see they are yet to communicate to us what exactly will happen. But some more conferring between the Electoral Commission and between the Electoral Commission's returning officer and the Director of Training of the Electoral Commission.
Hello, Hansen.
Hello?
Yes, so what is the point of contention as we speak? We understand there were 62 polling station pink sheets, or 62 polling stations yet to be collated, but a number of them have been done. So what is the issue as we speak?
The issue, as we've reported, is that the NDC at the moment are saying that the procedure used by the Electoral Commission to authenticate the results for the 20 polling stations that were outstanding is one that they disagree with. Already they had issues with the scanned copies of the 62 polling stations that the NPP presented to the Electoral Commission. But they are more concerned that the Electoral Commission would now use their presiding officers to authenticate the pink sheets presented by the NPP without these presiding officers having their own pink sheets. Now, when the presiding officers came on Monday, the Electoral Commission was able to authenticate for just 13. For the remaining 7, the business continued today. The NDC claimed, and they presented a gentleman who said he was a polling station. He was a presiding officer at one of the polling stations, where he explained that even though the pink sheet that was presented to him had his signature and his name, the writings on the pink sheet with respect to the number of votes attained by the candidates is not one that he can recognize as his handwriting. On that basis, the NDC had claimed that it meant the entire process was tainted, but the Electoral Commission went ahead to continue with the collation. During the collation, some of the presiding officers who came to look at the results were able to authenticate the results, but the NDC objected to that, and the Electoral Commission accepted same. The contention now is that for about 2 or 3 of the polling station results, the NDC had pink sheets, and the NPP also had pink sheets with varying numbers. The presiding officers who came were not able to determine which of the two was the original. And so there's confusion as to what exactly should happen. According to the NDC, the results or the number of voters from these 3 polling stations amount to 1,002, while the NPP claims to have won the constituency with 414 votes, meaning that the results of these 3 polling stations are important and ought to be factored into the final declaration. So on the part of the NDC, they believe that declaration cannot be made today. And for that matter, the best option is for the Electoral Commission to declare a rerun. But they do not want a rerun of the outstanding 3 polling stations, but rather a rerun of all the 62 polling stations, because for them, they've consistently indicated that they do not trust the pink sheets that were made available to them by the NPP.
I see. So what's the EC really saying in all of this? I mean, they don't have pink sheets themselves. They don't have the originals, and there's no other way of authenticating what each of the parties has. Is that what they are saying?
Yes, so the Electoral Commission's approach of authenticating the results was using its presiding officers. Some of the presiding officers have been able to help them authenticate their results. Now, we had results from 3 polling stations where the presiding officers could not help the Electoral Commission authenticate the results. And so we are yet to hear from the Electoral Commission what exactly they are going to do. We've seen them confer amongst themselves. The Director of Training for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Shubho Kweku, is here. Deputy Director of Elections and Research, Samuel Tete, is here. The Returning Officer is also here. And the Greater Accra Regional Director of the Electoral Commission is also here. They've been having conversations among themselves. At the moment, they are interacting with the political parties, and so we don't know what their next line of action is. But we've heard the so we've heard the NDC agitate, and they are saying that one of the presiding officers who says he couldn't authenticate says now he's going to authenticate and say they are not accepting it. And so, Salom, that is the situation here at the Electoral Commission office at Red.
So none of the parties has been able to present even any video evidence or the presiding officer, reading out the results to the public. They don't have anything like that, because we know in this day and age people take pictures and videos of many events. So none of the parties has any such video of the presiding officer in any of these 3 polling stations, announcing the results. We don't have anything like that. The EC won't admit any.
Not at all. Not at all. We've not had any of such. So it's just a matter of the hand pin sheet and the carbon copy pin sheet that have been brought to the Electoral Commission. But for them to have brought video evidence or audio evidence of results being declared, that is not any.
I see. All right. Thanks so much, Hansen Ajiman. Just keep being there. Keep your station there, so that we know it as and when any determination is being made by the Electoral Commission. Thanks so much. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Few of your messages that have come through. This one, Emil Akwansivi in Pando says, Salam, so the Electoral Commission has not been able to conclude with the collation of the parliamentary results. You say heads must roll. This one says the wickedness of the MPP will not be fruitful. Whatever evil they plotted to create difficulties will be overturned in due time. Also, those who attacked Valco should be arrested and dealt with. As for the EC, we can't think far of their incompetence. This is Nyodik Ni Atukwe Kwe in Accra. Christian Ameko from Pong says, good evening, Salam. Mahama and the NDC should wake up and start the resetting immediately from the energy sector. Else his government will start the doomsday. But we thank God Akufo-Addo and the MPP have been sent to the bush already, or yesterday you say. Zalex Duane in London says the EC must be removed from the office as soon as possible. You mean the chairperson of the EC or the whole EC? Zalex Duane. Baba Chairman in Tamale says, so in all these cacophony and lawlessness, where are the IGP and his men, and exactly what are they doing to stop these criminals? And is this a reset we were promised? We certainly didn't bargain for this. These guys were told by, you mentioned a name, that person said they should go and take up some positions. Well, we cannot verify that, so we won't put out that name. Akapol Jr. in Ahafumim says, Ghanaians did not vote for the NDC to give excuses. They must do whatever it takes to sustain our energy sector. They should greet the country with abolition of nuisance taxes and other promises, but not a looming doomsday. That is in respect of the story we are here to cover for you. We'll take a short break, return with more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Go me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. protector. And what they boss my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make I feel the gobe too small.
The go-go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
The festive season is here. You know what that means. Groceries, bills, and so many unplanned expenses.
Citi973 and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549986996. Stories we've been bringing to you so far. The Ablekuma North constituency coalition has been halted for a while. The two parties, the NDC and MPP, have been sparring over some 3 polling station pink sheets. Both parties are not seeing eye to eye in respect of those 3. And the EC is doing its best to bring a resolution to that. The point is that we understand that if these 3 polling stations, the registered voters in those 3 polling stations constitute some 1,400 or so voters, and that is quite a significant number if added to any of the parties, and so they cannot go ahead and declare without those 3 polling stations. So it also, we are being told by our correspondent also that those 3 polling station pink sheets have different numbers for both the NDC and MPP's presented pink sheets. Meanwhile, the presiding officer's signature and names appear to be the same on both. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, let's go back to the issue of CHAS, and that's the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools. The body is urging parents to provide their children with adequate provisions to address the ongoing feeding challenges in senior high schools. CHAS has called on the Ministry of Education to urgently disburse outstanding funds to ensure the smooth operation of schools nationwide. It warned that continued financial shortfalls could disrupt academic activities and affect student welfare. The conference also expressed concerns over delays in food supplies to schools, adding that the parental support is critical in mitigating the situation. Primus Barrow is the National Secretary of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools. He joins us on the line to help us appreciate this position better. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What exactly is the situation? Is it that the schools don't have food because they have not received supply from the buffer stock, or what really is the matter?
Good evening, sir, and good evening to all your cherished listeners, and especially to our constituents and our dear parents. Yes, the situation is answered in 3 ways. Some schools don't have food, some have a little bit of food, and others have quite a reasonable quantity. That is the situation across the country. But if I want to give you a general picture, the general picture about the food situation in the school is below average.
So how long has this situation persisted?
This situation had, since we resumed this academic year, this situation had, in fact, this is something that we've been complaining over the years through community engagement, but it has become more serious. It became more pronounced with the resumption of this current academic year. And we've had a lot of engagements on the issue of food and then and money between that time. But it became more pronounced. Actually, we saw it becoming more pronounced just at the brink of the Christmas break.
I see. Many have attributed this food shortages, etc., to the free senior high school and the fact that everything is controlled from the center. What is the thinking of Charles around this view?
Yes, again, this is something that Charles has always made very clear. Anytime we make recommendations as to areas that we think that we can straighten, make senior high school, much more effective. This is one area that we have always mentioned. The issue about this centralization of food supply. The system itself that system is not the best. So we have always recommended that, look, let's get back to the system. We are not saying give money, give allow them to do the procurement. We buy the food items from within our environment. Each school will develop its menu, get the food items that are within the environment, and then you cook. It makes things much better than centralized food items, to the extent that somebody will come from Accra and supply maize to my school in Japa Senior High, when I can just walk out there once they out there and ask the supplier to bring the food. So these are some of the constraints that we have talked about over the years. So that is partly, the problem. The issue that apart from food, every other thing seems to be so centralized, and that is where the challenge is. Because people, even when you are so hard up, I remember there was a time we did what we call emergency supplies, when the regional coordinators were asked to now look for some local supplies. People were not ready to come out, because they tell you that, well, all this while we're not part of it, and we're not even sure whether we supply this money to be paid. So it's actually a constraint, and it's going forward. Maybe that's one area that we may have to look at as stakeholders.
But have you been in contact with the buffer stock company? What have they been telling you?
The buffer stock company, it is right now. It is not only buffer stock company that supplies, to the school. We also have the exchange. This other company. There are a number of companies that supply to the schools across the regions. What is obvious is that in the case of the buffer stock, it is because the suppliers, those who are supplying the buffer stock, have also been complaining that they have not been paid. So when you even ask them to supply the food, the money they are also reluctant to do, because that money they are afraid that if they supply the food, the money will not be given to them. So that has been another a hurdle. And in fact, that's why Charles advocated some time ago. I think I remember 2-3 years ago, we have indicated that, look, the main purpose of buffer stock was even defeated as soon as the buffer stock started asking people to supply. They started taking contractors to supply food items on their behalf. We knew we were going to head in for trouble, because the whole rationale, reasoning around buffer stock is that, look, this is a company that when the food stuff is in abundance, buffer stock will go in. Government should give money to buffer stock. They buy the food, put it down, food quantities that are enough, so that are enough to supply the schools over the whole year. But if now buffer stock will now go in and take contractors again, so it's like you are not going for a third party. All those things affect the prices. At the end of the day, the government might be paying a higher price, and we all know what goes into. As the more hands you have in the supply chain, we know the implications of that. So the whole rationale behind the buffer stock operations were defeated so many years back, and Charles made this very clear. I remember when we went to Bolga about 4 years, we moved to Takoradi. If you look at our communique, we had kicked against this kind of arrangement and advised government not to go in for this kind of arrangement. Let buffer stock buy the food when it is actually, and put it in buffer and supply schools at the lean season. But unfortunately, we can only advise. We don't decide what the policy should be.
I see. So this centralization, has it persisted long before the free SHS, or you think it's a feature that came with the free SHS?
As far as I can remember, it became part of the practice at the inception, at the very inception of the free HSS system and the government's decision to supply food items, to schools. That's how it has been.
All right.
And the situation has worsened and worsened over the years.
So now your call is to parents of students in schools to do what?
Yeah, we had advised against the resumption of school pending the resolution of these acute shortages of food. The government says that we have no right to close our schools. The students must come to school. We have yielded. We have no option anyway, so they have come to school. Unfortunately, there's also a saying that the one who sees the fire on the mountain is the one who fetches it. I tell you that we are living with pain with these children in our schools. We go to it. In fact, a lot of headmasters will not go to a dining hall now because you go and it's so pathetic that you see the kind of food that our own children are living. Ghanaian children are eating the dining hall. To say the least, it's not the best. And I dare you to send your cameras around to schools and let them show you the kind of food our children. It is not the best. So we saw it and we just thought that, look, let's readjust the academic calendar. We were even prepared. We even offered that we're going to talk to our staff to have intervention. Granted that we go off for even a week or two, and then we'll make it up through some intervention classes. But at least these kids will be comfortable. Well, we're not giving that listening ear. The students have come. So what we're advising parents is that this is now the time, more than ever, to support your children to be able to survive in school now. Because as I talk, some amount of foods have been given to some schools. But as I talk, some is still very dire. Let me give you an example of Upper West. I can speak for Upper West. I can speak for Northern Region. I can speak for Upper East. Apart from rice, no other cereal is given to any school. No other. And even after some schools, after today, before I came on this program, a school called me from Upper West, Piena Senior High School. They have not even received the rice. And in fact, they belong to a zonal center that zonal center has not been supplied with rice. And this was a school that ran short of food. So this actually the situation. It's actually still very acute in some of the schools. And so we can only ask parents. And we have spoken to our heads. They should talk close. They should get closer to their PTAs, to see how they can best help their kids. Because these are their kids anyway. These are their own children. I'm not sure anybody, whether poor or rich, would like your child, to be hungry in the house. So that's the only way out now. Some schools may be privileged, to have their PTA supporting. And that has been the difficulty about us. I must be very frank. So some schools may be better off, but there are a lot of schools that are actually suffering because of this. Unfortunately, we as frontline implementers of secondary education were not heeded to. And I think it is not the best. And these are all lessons that everybody must learn. Everybody must learn as we go ahead.
But you're asking parents to support or help or pay give money, pay something or give food to their children to bring to school. The whole essence of the free SHS is to assist parents who do not have money to take care of their kids in senior high school to also have their kids taken care of by the state or by government. This call of yours, doesn't it defeat the whole purpose of the free SHS? And what then should parents who do not have do to ensure their children finish the school successfully like others?
Yes, sir. I will as well ask you, what do you want headmasters to do to kids who are not supported by their parents, whether rich or poor? What do we do to them? Are we the ones to feed them?
Very well.
It's about policy. It is about the policy. And that's why year after year, we have always been advising that, look, I'm surprised that 8 years down the line or 7 years down the line with the free HSS, there has never been any form of engagement, to look at the system. Afraid to review.
Very well.
We had to review, and it was a big problem.
Very well. We appreciate that. We know there will be more time to talk about the review and all of that. Thanks so much, Primus Barrow, National Secretary of the Conference of Heads and of Assisted Senior High School, speaking to us on the shortage of food, etc., in senior high schools. Now, let's go to the Collation Center, where the EC is making a pronouncement.
4 out of the 7. So we are left with 3 more. We brought our presiding officers here 2 came and they couldn't authenticate the statement of pool and declaration form. 1 said she can't come. So that is the 3 now to continue their work for them. Thank you.
You haven't got in there. You haven't got in there.
When you call me, I don't come.
You haven't got in there. What do you say to that? Good evening once again. I think it is out of frustration that he's saying what he said. And I understand him, but I don't think that's the end of the road. We'll get him back. I want to put on record that the Commission has no interest at all in who becomes the Member of Parliament. But we should be very careful of the precedent we set. It is the voter who decides who should be their leaders, be it presidential or parliamentary. We recruited our officials to go to the polling stations. They went there, and you, the media, you have a lot of the videos where some of our officers were assaulted. I think on Monday, we brought 2 ladies. One of them said that she was assaulted, that's why he has to run away. Today, the lady we brought, we took us hectic time to convince her to come, that there will be security for her. So what we normally do is that we ask them not to come here direct, because they can be accosted on the road. So we ask them to report at the EC, the new office. Then we will bring them with ourselves, with police escort. Now the allegation is that we took them there for them to be schooled by the commission. They mentioned the chairperson's name, Dr. Bosman's name, and if you ask any of them, they didn't meet these people. When they can, we give them place to sit. Myself and the arrows will just prepare them that they should get there. I said, all that we want to come and say here is the truth. And the truth is the truth. Fortunately, all the people we have brought here are other Muslims or Christians. And the foundation of their faith or our faith is the truth. Nobody has cooked anything. Now, we brought 6 people. 4 of them had validated or confirmed the figures. The gentleman who came just now initially didn't want to come. And the irony of it is that he teaches in the same school with the return officer. The guy who just he teaches, he said that he will never come. So we gave up, but later we came and so initially he said that he cannot confirm it now, but you can confirm that. Now he came back and said that he has confirmed the figures for the candidates. But as for the rejected one, there were no rejected ballots, so that one he cannot accept it. That is the story. But I say that it's unfortunate. Because I want people who can stand by their work. This work was done less than a month now. Once you see your handwriting, you see your figures, nobody is putting a gun on your head. Tell the truth, and the truth will stand the test of time. So if this is what you said, we cannot force him to accept everything. But at least all of you heard that. For the votes for the candidates, they are correct. But that of the rejected ballot is what he is contesting. We'll go back. The other guy said that he can also not deny or affirm. We'll give ourselves time. There's another person who's a lady. He said that even if you bring Caterpillar, he will not come back because of what they have gone through. And my sadness is that if you are doing this to our own people, 2024 is not the only time we'll have election. We will have election in 2028. Are we sure that we will have dedicated people to come and serve Mother Ghana? Truth will always be the truth. So that's what I was saying.
Dr. Axton, is there anything that can compel this lady you are referring to come and then confirm these documents for us? Because it appears the entire country has been held to ransom now.
Even the returning officer himself is saying that he will not come back again. So let's solve that problem. Like I said in the morning, I personally never knew any of them till I met them here. I never knew them. So the lady we are talking about, I don't know her. So how can I go and compare somebody I've never met before? It is only the presiding officer, the returning officer who recruited and trained them. So he's the one we can use. But if he himself is giving up, then where are we?
Can't they be compelled to do the needful because they were employed and paid? The work is not done yet. We need to finish this work. Can't they be
let me also put the question back to you. If you force him here and he comes and says that I can neither confirm nor deny them, what will you do? So the person should come on his own volition that I'm coming to speak the truth. Then he comes and speaks the truth. Let him take you back to Domico Benya. Domico Benya, people are citing that as an example. The officer did not complete any form. It was when he finished and went home that he said that he didn't get the pink sheet for that, but he had the one for training. So he called the MPP agent. They said that on our tally sheet, we have the results there. So he WhatsApped the results to him. So it is a lady, to him. So to her. Then we invited the parties. NDC brought 2 of the carbonized sheets. It was not contested. We accepted because the return of the not this return because that one has also different. He said that he's comfortable that he use them. So the outstanding one, we used the tele card from the NDC to complete because nobody contested that one. So that's the story of the Domico. But here, once the sheets are here and the 2 of them are saying, I accept part, I don't accept part. These are my signatures, these are my handwriting, and the rest. It puts us in a very awkward position. But we cannot force anybody to come and make any claim. That one would be bad on our side. But we believe that truth will be truth. We have not concluded anything. I've told you, even the return officer himself, he said he will not come here again. You have not addressed that you are talking of runoff. So let's address.
What is the position of the commission?
We have finished our work here for today. We are going to inform the commission what has transpired. Commission will have to engage the return officer. Based on what happens and the rest, they will know the way forward. Because the return officer himself is so frustrated. The irony of it is that he stays with the people, both the MPP and NDC people, in their constituency. Personally, even at the Mother we are talking about, I don't know even where it is, let alone knowing the presiding officer. So he recruited the people and trained them. So we need him. And that's what we should all be talking to him, that he should not be out of frustration, give up. Technically, they were supposed to be 3. Return officers and 2 deputies. Have you seen any of the 2 here? You haven't. So let's ask ourselves, why are they not coming? And that's why I'm saying that I fear for our future elections. But truth will always be the truth, no matter how you twist the facts.
So, just briefly, the journey from wherever these presiding officers are coming from to your headquarters could have been the same journey to this place where they will be protected by the security here. But you decided
how would they?
Just briefly, you decided to send them to your headquarters and bus them here, which has given ground for the allegation of you compromising them before they get. If you have the opportunity again, you come them there.
We'll send them there again. The reason is that when they come here individually, they will have to be interviewed by the police. The police don't know them, right? But when they are coming to our office, there's no barrier, there's nothing. So they will come there, we'll pick them. All the elected officers and the rest, we all go there. Then we are given buses and escorted by the police. So if you say they should come here individually, then they will come and confront the police and whoever they will confront. Don't forget that if the person comes and the person is attacked, it's also on us, right? So we bring them there so that under police escort, all of us can come and do our work.
So this process has been suspended now?
Did you hear the return officer? If you heard it, then I can't answer the question. Unless you are not here.
He said he's done with his work.
Okay. Then when we get it back, we'll talk.
What do you have to say to
Okay, so gradually we are getting there. We have 281 polling stations in Ablekuma North. Gradually, 219, 200, it was left with 62. And by the grace of God, truth was turned. In the first place, I appreciate the justice system that we should go and collate. And I am firm. I want to say on record that I will fight this till end because I know I won. I have all my 281 pink sheets scanned. I did it immediately before the gentleman, the Kalamu gentleman, who came and tore everything from the Electoral Commission. He tore everything from the Electoral Commission. You can witness what was going on right now. He took one pink sheet and tore it, and it was taken from him. That has been the character in the constituency. Now, what it is that gradually we are left with 3 polling stations. By the grace of God, I'm leading comfortably. And that is the fear. I'm leading. I'm leading with how many votes? The total is 414 votes. Right now, I'm leading with 300 and something votes. And so, what it is that they know I have won. They are aware. The truth can never be hidden. It will definitely come out. Now, the gentleman who came, I don't know him. They also don't know him. Well, this morning, I learned some of them were calling the presiding officers not to come. And so that...
These complaints come to your notice.
Well, good evening to our cherished listeners and yourself, and Happy New Year. First of all, I am unable to substantiate or identify if all of these incidences are NDC youths or persons who are members of our party. I know you are well informed that a change that took place on December 7th was not just NDC people alone. It included people within the MPP who are disenchanted with the level of mismanagement with the government and also the level of corruption. So John Mahama's new regime is a combination of NDC and also the people of Ghana. I do appreciate the fact that these problems began immediately after declaration. The president and the government went to sleep and allowed their people to be stealing government property. In fact, we have records of a lot of things that have been stolen for which young people of this country have had to retrieve, most of which they have lodged with the police service. And so we also do know that at certain places, public servants are busy taking advantage of the transition and the fact that it was only yesterday His Excellency the President got sworn in, and stealing vehicles, stationery, government movable materials, and all sort of things. And so, given the gap, you will recall that the young people of this country are determined to change the narrative of our country, where people steal government property, government money with impunity. So it's unfortunate, but I think that we should appreciate those who are sacrificing to preserve and to protect state property. If the situation was that they were also stealing and taking it home, then it's a different matter. But if it is a case that they are moving and protecting state assets that government officials are taking away, then I think that it's a problem the party has come to appreciate, which we are dealing. Yesterday, we've been working with the Inspector General of Police, cooperating with some skeletal individuals within the former government who are still at post to try and regularize the situation. Between these individual young people and state officials who have the responsibility to preserve and to protect state assets, you will then put the burden on state officials. When you lose election, governance have not come to an end. The government of Ghana have not come to an end. We have only changed a president. How come public servants are stealing left, right, center? Look, the minister
Mustafa, but of course, reports we've seen is that sometimes the people are in the office, like what happened at Ghana Gas, for example, and the youth swarm the place. They are working. They are not stealing anything that we can see.
Yes.
They swarm the place. The UNDP flats, for example, at cantonment, the guys were home. I mean, civil servants, they were home. And then the place was stormed by young people. You know, they destroyed things in the house, etc. So these are not people stealing anything. They were home. And then they were swarmed. And many other places. So if the case is that the people were stealing things, that's fine. But no record so far. I'm not sure there's been any record that this person was stealing an item and that person has been stopped and that record is available.
I can give you record. Look, the Minister for Agric, Brian Achampo, the rice that was procured for the northern drought, they were stealing them away. It took these young people to impound and get.
You mean Brian Achampo was stealing the rice away, the bags of rice away?
But he's the Minister of Agric. He ought to ensure that these things are well taken care of.
But they were stealing from what? They were stealing from the ministry or from where?
Yes, from Tema Ports. Look, if you go to Kofodia, if you go to...
No, but Mustafa, to be fair, the minister's eyes may not be everywhere. So the minister has persons there, directors, etc., to ensure that those acts you talk about do not happen.
No, if a minister goes to procure 1,000 bags of rice, they are saying that because the government have lost power and transition was underway, the minister should go and sleep and allow those 10 bags of cement.
No, I've not said that. How about you hold responsible the person put in charge at the place where the unfortunate thing took place?
I'm saying that it is one thing holding somebody responsible, and it's another thing when you see that another person is stealing a state property and you are helping to detain same. And those are very difficult and tricky situations. And I'm giving you examples of public officials stealing bungalows. Look, let me tell you, this government that is outgoing have, occupied state properties with individuals who are not government functionaries. And that is wrong. You have places where they are breaking land, state bungalows, and starting to build. You expect the young people of this country to go to bed? And leave
I get a point you're making, but the examples I've given you, do not fall within the matters you are addressing. So I spoke about Ghana Gas, I've spoken about Valco, I've spoken about the UNDP flats. Now there's Cocoa Board in Tema, and there is NSS Secretariat in Koforidua and NIA offices in Koforidua and a few other places. The people are Ghanaians, they've just gone to work, and then they get swarmed by young people who claim to be members of your party and saying that they should leave the offices because
they are not members of my party. They are young people they are not Togolese, they are Ghanaians. And I'm saying that
Ghanaians are in the offices working as well.
With the issue of Ghana Gas, they went to look for Owusu Bempa because he was operating from Ghana Gas and attacking everybody, including the president. And the young people feel that they must go and drag him out. Because
but that's wrong, Mustafa. You know that's wrong. You don't take the law into your own hands. You know that's wrong.
The authority of Ghana Gas should not allow somebody to be politically exposing the entity. They shouldn't have allowed it. So I just gave you the reason why the people went to Ghana Gas. With the issue of Valco, last week, we got wind of people these things being stolen, state assets being stolen here and there. And they went to the place to say that, look, nobody should sabotage the government. If you know that you are a patriotic Ghanaian, you should be willing to see the government succeed and not steal state properties. In the process, the police got there and they dragged them away. Today, they went to STC, for example, where they got wind that people were stealing buses away. And they went to stop the people for the police to take over. Are you saying we should condemn these people?
But Mustafa, how can you steal an STC bus? Where will you put it? I mean, how? How will somebody steal an STC bus?
In this Brana Temple Nkoko Metro Mass Station, they were cutting the Metro Mass buses away as scraps. The young people had to go there to stop them. And so you see, whereas we feel that ransacking is wrong, it is more evil when a public officer is busy stealing when transition is in progress. And we cannot say that these are members of the NDC. They are young people of this country. President Mahama's election was won by youths of this country who believe that President Akufo-Addo was completely a syndicate that was defrauding this country and milking it, and they want to protect it.
Very well.
Let stealing continue even after election.
Very
what do you
well.
want them to do?
Very well. Now you are in charge. You were put in charge yesterday. The people of Ghana put you in charge yesterday. and today is
we
another
are not
day.
going to take over.
So will you? No, you've taken over. You've effectively taken over by law. So will you make a call to the rampaging youth, the young people you say are rather protecting the assets of the state? Will you make a call to them that you are now in charge, so they should rest, or they should hold their peace?
We will rather admonish the Inspector General of Police and the CDS to protect state installations, because if any public servant is seen stealing state assets, let me assure you that the young people will go and arrest them or stop them and retrieve them and hand them over to the police. That way, they will do it.
Very well. Thanks so much, Mustafa Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, speaking to us on this matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Hawa has more.
President John Dramani Mahama has expressed his surprise at the severity of the looming power crisis, particularly as he assumes office. This follows concerns about critically low fuel stocks for power generation due to procurement issues under the previous administration. Speaking during a visit by a delegation from the World Bank, the president called for urgency in addressing the escalating situation.
The transition has taken place. It's been smooth, it's been cordial, but there are a few surprises that have come up in respect of the energy sector, in respect of, some aspects of government's decisions and things over the last several years. But I think that Ghana has the human resources to be able to deal with the situation and turn things around as quickly as possible.
He had President John Dramani Mahama. Meanwhile, the government has set up a technical committee to address the looming power outages. Acting spokesperson to the president, Felix Kwachiofosu, speaking after a meeting with industry players, says the newly formed technical committee has until the end of today to present solutions.
The government has been briefed in order to address the situation, because we know that it is pretty urgent. A technical committee has been set up. That has representatives from all the key players in the management of Ghana's energy sector. And they have, up until the close of day today, to put before government a roadmap on what exactly needs to be done and how it can be done. So you can rest assured that government is taking the matter seriously and will do what has to be done in order to avert any difficulty for the people of Ghana. It needs to be stressed that the pegging exercise, or if you like, the maintenance exercise on the pipeline, should have been carried out in October of last year. Government then, the MPP government, requested that they shift it to January 20th in order that they will have sufficient time to procure the alternative fuels, that is the liquid oils, to power the thermal plants within the period that gas will not be available. At least in about 2 national security briefings that the then president-elect held with the present government, he asked about the status of the procurement of oils, and he was given firm assurance by the then government that they had put mechanisms in place to resolve the situation, that there will not be the difficulty that we are talking about today. It does appear that that promise was not kept, and therefore the responsibility has shifted to the present government. But President Mahama is alive to the task, and adequate responses will be fashioned to address this particular concern.
So you heard Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who is the acting spokesperson for the president, John Dramani Mahama. Up next is City Business News. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Why the party there today? Make the holidays unforgettable. Treat your family and friends to a celebration at the African Regent Hotel. Join us daily to enjoy delightful welcome drinks, mouth-watering delicacy,
City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details now. The government fell short of its 2024 year-end inflation target of 15% as inflation for December 2024 rose marginally to 23.8%, up from 23% in November. The uptake was primarily driven by higher food prices, according to the latest data from the Ghana Statistical Service. December's increase marks the fourth consecutive monthly rise. Food inflation surged from 25.9% to 27.8%, while non-food inflation saw a modest decline from 20.7% to 20.3%. Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Inim at a press conference outlined key drivers of the December inflation data, stressing the impact of food price pressures on the overall inflationary trend.
In the month of December 2024, average prices of goods and services went up by 23.8%, indicating that on a year-on-year basis, specifically between December 2023 and December 2024, general price levels of goods and services went up by 23.8%. This is on the backdrop that on a year-on-year basis, November 2024, we recorded an overall rate of inflation of 23.0%, indicating that on a year-on-year basis, between November and December 2024, we saw a marginal increase of 0.8 percentage points for the year-on-year inflation. Disaggregating year-on-year inflation from a food and non-food perspective, we identified a 7.5 percentage point difference between inflation for food and inflation for non-food, with inflation for food standing at 27.8% in the month of December 2024 and non-food inflation 20.3% for the month of December 2024. We have seen an increase in food inflation, increasing from 25.9% to 27.8%, and in contrast, we have recorded a decline in non-food inflation, declining from 20.7% by 0.4 percentage points to 20.3% for the month of December 2024.
Professor Samuel Kobna-Inim is government statistician. The city is projected to close 2025 around 17 city 70 pesos, with a potential deviation of plus or minus 20 pesos. This forecast by Data Bank Research suggests a relatively stable foreign exchange market this year, supported by key economic and market drivers. There is more in the following report by Daniel Sakete.
Data Bank Research, in its 2025 Ghana Market Outlook, attributes the city's expected stability to three key factors. It knows that Ghana's gold reserves are projected to strengthen after the 2024 elections. The research firm expects the new government to prioritize domestic mining, boosting gold production to bolster reserves. Gold reserves, which stood at 37.52 metric tons in mid-2024, are anticipated to surpass the 2023 levels, providing a buffer against external shocks. Secondly, anticipated credit rating upgrades are likely to boost investor confidence. Following Ghana's Eurobond debt restructuring in 2024, Moody's and Fitch upgraded the country's ratings, with Moody's moving its issuer ratings from CAA3 to CAA2 and assigning a positive outlook. Data Bank also predicts further upgrades as economic indicators improve, strengthening the city. Thirdly, it states that political stability after the 2024 elections is expected to attract foreign direct investment and portfolio inflows, easing speculative pressures on the currency. Disciplined fiscal policies are projected to reinforce this recovery. Despite these prospects, the city faced challenges in 2024, depreciating by 28% year-on-year by September, compared to the 9.78% in 2023. This was driven by high corporate dollar demand and fewer than expected U.S. rate cuts. Sustained city stability in 2025 would depend on sound policies and leveraging gold reserves to drive growth.
Daniel Sakete filed that report. The president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obin, has expressed renewed confidence in the government to revitalize the economy to attract local and foreign investment. This comment follows President John Dramani Mahamad's assurances to the business community to create a business-friendly environment that fosters growth and prosperity. In his inaugural address, President Mahama acknowledged the challenges businesses have faced in recent years and assured stakeholders that his government would prioritize stability, predictability, and an investor-friendly environment to drive economic growth. Dr. Joseph Obin has been speaking to Citi Business News on the president's comments.
The fact that he said that he's going to prioritize the stability of the economy, the local currency, and all that means that he's well versed on what he is to do and able to revise businesses. You see, the call that he made for businesses to come together to help him in this direction is the most important thing that I wanted to hear. Because what it means is that he's going to consult businesses, and that is surely going to bring the solution together. So if you do the necessary consultation, the fact that the business, the stakeholders are also poised to give our solutions and all that, it means that we'll get there.
President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obin. The aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management Company is urging the Mahama government to prioritize fast-tracking the release of their locked-up investment, highlighting the severe hardship faced by many members. The customers expressed disappointment with the immediate past government's failure to fulfill its promise of distributing the full 1.5 million cedis bailout to affected clients. In an interview with Citi Business News, convener of the aggrieved customers, Charles Nyame, expressed hope that the new government will respond to their concerns and take swift action.
Government should expedite action to find money to pay all these customers, all these dying customers, because the issue has been far too long. That is one thing that we are pleading with the incoming government to do. Another thing is that if in 2022 or 2021, an amount of 25 billion was allocated, approved by Parliament, raised by Finance Ministry, which was supposed to pay every customer investment, it means that if these monies were dispersed in 2021, we shouldn't be talking about this issue now. We believe them to expedite action in that direction. So we are hopeful, and we will cross our fingers and wait and see what the government will do before it will inform our decision.
Charles Nyame is the convener of the aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management Company. And that's it for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisi Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change. It's time to reset yourself and everything else around you for success in the new year. Tune in to the Effective Living Series 2025 this January on Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM. Start your year with insightful discussions and expert tips on personal growth, health, success, and more. From the 6th of January, join Apioko and Caleb Kuda engage our guests with various expertise on the Effective Living Series for a comprehensive guide to resetting your life in 2025. Week 1 kicks off with Personal Reset. Week 2 focuses on resetting your personal economy. Week 3 is all about resetting your health. Week 4, resetting business, calibrate, remodel, and rebuild. Catch the Effective Living series live on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 Citi FM and Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV, Monday through Thursday. Don't miss out on transforming your life for the better every week, only on Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM. The Effective Living Series 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by Hallmark Cafe. Hallmark Cafe, delight in every sip and bite.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
The go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
New Kivo Hot Pepper Powder. Loco show. This advert is FDA approved.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Minutes to the top of the hour. Point blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Selom Adonu. My guest tonight is Member of Parliament for the Otafo constituency. Is Vincent Esefua, one of the youngest MPs in Ghana's legislature. In fact, there's been some younger ones as well who are first timers. He is in his second term. He joins us on Eyewitness News tonight to talk some general matters. Talk MPP. We talk parliamentary work, constituency organization, amongst others. Honorable, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Salam.
Yes, how have you been? I mean, you won your election quite well. I mean, you come from a very safe constituency, the Otafo. Historically, it's been a very safe constituency. How was the election generally for you?
Well, let me say a very good evening to you and to your cherished viewers. I think that I am now believing that there is nothing like
a safe seat.
Especially because of how the 2024 elections panned out. Clearly, anybody, even from the Ashanti region, being a candidate, contesting on the ticket of any political party, if you had not done your work well, would it have won an election? That is some belief I'm having now. And so I do not believe that there's any safe seat now. If you do your work, the Ghanaian people will vote for you.
Is that by extension suggesting that the NPP didn't do its work in the time they had? That's why Ghanaians voted them out?
We had a lot of challenges, clearly, both internal and governance-wise.
That made you not to do your work well?
So, I mean, the Ghanaian people passed a verdict, and clearly there should be a reason for that. And I believe that from what I said, we had issues with governance. And so...
Issues with governance exactly mean what?
You see, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is one of the best presidents we've ever had since independence. But of course, there are actions and inactions of people, especially his appointees, that may not go down well with the people of Ghana, or that might have not gone down well with the people of Ghana. There may also be one or two actions of the president himself that may be out of misunderstanding, because I am one of the people who believes that the New Patriotic Party and this government failed to be able to communicate the challenges of the Ghanaian people. I'll give you an example. During the electioneering campaign, the current president, John Dramani Mahama, said that within the first 120 days, he is going to cancel e-levy and cancel COVID-19 levy, cancel betting levy, and what have you. Just even before he took the reins of government, even before, he is now trying to rationalize, if you like, psych the minds of the Ghanaian people, that it may not be easy for us to, as it were, cancel that tax. What does that mean? That means that it is a necessary tax. However, the New Patriotic Party failed to carry the people of Ghana along, for them to understand our challenge as a people.
But your candidate, I mean, Dr. Bawumia also said he was going to cancel it. So they both said it. So I don't see the point really, because if
Bawumia said e-levy.
Yeah, said e-levy. He even talked about betting levy.
I don't think so.
No, he said betting levy.
I don't
he
think
talked
so.
about betting levy.
Well,
he did.
That's okay.
He did, yes.
Clearly, you could see that there were some taxes, COVID-19, emission taxes, that John Dramani Mahama said at the time that he's going to cancel it within the first 120
But
days.
e-levy is the biggest one. I mean, e-levy is the emission tax. Wasn't there?
You think?
No, the e-levy in terms of volume. In terms of volume.
Go and take your duty.
In terms of volume.
If you want to take your duty sheet, you see that COVID-19 features, almost everything COVID-19 features very well. I am trying to make the point that if you are a certain government and you are able to communicate your challenges and carry the people along, you will not be able to suffer the defeat that you suffer. It does not mean that you did not perform.
Actions speak louder than words. How do you communicate the challenges? Your actions must communicate the challenges. When you said we should tighten our belts and you losing yours, that is some communication.
Do you think we're losing ours?
No, when you tell us that the system is...
when you tell us that the system sure that all his ministers and deputy ministers had a salary slash.
No, when everybody's done that before. John Mahama did that before. Well, when you tell us that the system is tough and you keep flying private jets, when even Ghanaians were talking about it, and your ministers come to tell us that you need a system or a jet you can bath or freshen up in, and all of that.
That is agreed. That's what I'm saying.
That itself communicates a lot. So it was a government or a leader who didn't listen.
I agree with you.
So how do you communicate it when your actions say otherwise?
I agree with you, but I'm saying that there were some challenges.
The challenges were self-inflicted.
Not all of them.
Were self-inflicted. So, for example, e-levy. We said that e-levy, I think it came, is it 1.5 now? It came a bit higher. And we said, no, reduce it. Nobody bothered. Nobody bothered.
Reduce it to 1.5%.
Yes, so it was 2.
So currently it is 1.5%.
Yes. People said, make it 0.5. Let it be incremental.
Right.
Let's start it this way. After every budget cycle, you can increase it. Ease us into it. You don't hit us with 2%.
Remember, you go to the IMF. The IMF will give you a policy guideline, a general policy guideline whereby you have to ensure that there is fiscal consolidation and revenue mobilization.
But you see, you will boast of having the men, and you boast of saying that Ken Ofori-Atta, who was finance minister, had networks and knew about the workings of the IMF, etc. There could have been a way of dealing with it. Now, for example, we hear the John Mahama administration may go and renegotiate the IMF terms. The IMF knows that you have a country to run. They will come with their conditionalities. But if you are resolute in what you are telling them, they will go around it and they will let it happen. Especially, again, if you carry them along. So you don't hit us with, a 2.0 or 2%. and later after the outcry you can't make it 1.5. That itself would have poisoned the minds of the people already.
But you see, the fact that you have introduced a tax of 1.5% for e-levy doesn't mean it is bad necessarily. I'm saying that.
No, but
yes, but you see, the circumstances that we found ourselves, we needed that tax very well. You see, the vice presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Matopeko Pempe, went on Peace FM. And Kwame Sefakai asked him a very simple question. I remember the response that he gave to him as far as the DDEP is concerned. He first and foremost apologized to the people.
But apology,
you would have hold on. You hold on. Oh, of course, it's genuine. He apologized to the people that first and foremost, this shouldn't have happened. But for him, he also sees those people as one of the people in the history of this country who have been able to sacrifice so much for the Ghanaian people. It does not mean that it is a good way of going about it, or it does not mean that that is the best way to go around it. But in the circumstances, we had to make sure that some sacrifices are made. We just came out of COVID. So I'm saying that it is not about whether the taxes that was levied was good or not, but the fact that we were not able to communicate it well and carry the Ghanaian people to let us, for them to let us understand, or for them to understand that this was a good way to be able to manage the country at the time. That is why I think we failed. Because John Dramani Mahama, one way or the other, has been able to confirm some of the things that we were saying at the time. Because obviously he's now telling us that he did not know that it was an IMF conditionality. Please, that was not an IMF conditionality. He did not know
it was an IMF for what? To do what?
That we should, as it were, bring about the e-levy. It was not.
When did he say that?
Oh, but I heard him say that he did not know that these things were tied to the IMF conditionalities and all that. As I said, the IMF...
What I heard was that he did not know the extent of the difficulties in the energy sector, because what he was told was not as deep as he's seen. That's what I heard him say.
No, this one, he said this about 3 or 4 days ago.
Okay.
Maybe after that, I'll share the video with you. He said that the e-levy, the COVID-19 and the emission tax, as far as he is concerned, he did not know that it was tied to the IMF conditionality. And I am suggesting to you and the NDC and John Dramani Mahama that it was never tied to it. But what was tied to it was how to ensure that there's fiscal consolidation and effective revenue mobilization. That then, at the governance level, the New Patriotic Party and its government decided that we should be able to introduce e-levy. We should be able to introduce the COVID-19, or if you like, ensure the sustenance of the COVID-19, ensure the sustenance of the emission tax and the betting tax. So it's something that he can do away if he really wants to do away with it. Because it is not, let me say, a conditionality of the...
but he's promised to do so in 120 days. So let's see.
He has already told us that he can't do it.
Today is day 2.
He said he can't do it.
No, but we will hold him to it.
It can even be a day.
Yeah, we will hold him to it. After 120 days, we will hold him to it. So leave that to us. We'll hold him to it. You know, the other issue too is people thought your government didn't listen. You MPs, I don't know if you were part, but in the end it became a majority decision. You said no, let Ken go because some of Ken's policies and the way he was carrying himself around, etc., was going to make us lose the election. That was 2 years ago. The president didn't listen. I mean, and rather, some of the people went around chasing people who championed that.
No,
you know,
I remember,
and all of that people think worked against you.
Well, I think that sometimes if you are governing, you have to listen to the voices of the people.
But the
voices of the people. In fact, the voices that actually put you there. At the time, it was clear that the Ghanaian people were yearning for
a change.
As far as the finance minister is concerned. In fact, I was one of the people. In fact, we had to go and meet the president. We met
and they told you after the IMF negotiation.
We met the president that yes, he's going to do that after the IMF negotiation. Maybe, and maybe I may have to get the explanation from the president. But the promise that he gave to us as members of parliament when we met him, that this is what the Ghanaian people are telling us. This is what our constituents are also telling us. It will be proper that you allow the finance minister to excuse himself for some time, because if that is what everybody is saying, please let's do it for them. But unfortunately, we did not get it that way. It is possible, and maybe rightly so, one of the reasons why we lost these elections, because people felt that this government or the kind of governance we are having is not one that is a listening government. We accept it. Maybe going forward, we should be able to see how best we can deal with it. especially if we are able to have the chance from the Ghanaian people to lead this country again. But as I said, we've learned from these lessons. We've learned from these lessons so much that you just cannot lead and govern without feedback.
But your people fail to take feedback seriously.
But I'm saying that those feedback, when you take it, doesn't mean you are going to change your position. You need to be able to carry them along for them to know where you want to tailor or direct the country towards. If you are not able to do so, then it will mean that indeed you did not take feedback. But you can still take feedback and maintain the stance, and let the Ghanaian people also maintain their stance, so that you can carry all of them along.
But you guys were so confident. What was the confidence was it real? You guys were so confident. Were you not picking signals from the ground? Some of you guys so confident you were going to win this election. And in fact, Bawumia himself said he knew he was going to win. He didn't have a problem with winning. What he was concerned about was the margin. And I was surprised because, hearing from the ground, from text messages, from tweets, etc., you know that the ground wasn't fertile for the NPP. But you guys in government appeared not to. You didn't know. Is it that there's something in government that stopped you from seeing the reality?
When you are in government, the preoccupation is to see how best you can develop your country. Now, when you go for your cabinet meetings and there's a sector by sector, if you like, briefing, then you see sector by sector the things that you've done. It is going to be very difficult for you to convince yourself why the social contract that you signed with the Ghanaian people was for the purposes of me voting for you to be my leader and me also delivering on developmental projects for you. Now, if per my own assessment, and I check the manifesto upon which I came into office with, and I've been able to perform about 70% of those manifesto promises, and maybe if you have time, we can take our time and go through the manifesto.
We've actually run out of time.
At the right time, we can do that.
Yes.
And take the MPP manifesto one by one, and you will see that we were able to perform about 70% of our manifesto promises. So, on that basis, you are tempted to believe that on all faults, you stand the right chance of winning an election. However, the Ghanaian voter is becoming sophisticated. And as a researcher, I am so much interested in making sure that we understand how a typical Ghanaian voter thinks.
But you're a party of science and data.
Yes, but I'm saying that if they are becoming sophisticated, you need to understand what everybody is thinking. So, if a Ghanaian voter thinks that, okay, I want you to take out the finance minister, you don't take out the finance minister. Meanwhile, that person has enjoyed from free SHS. Meanwhile, in front of that person's house, there has been a construction of road. So you see how sophisticated the thing is. So if you do this assessment and you now realize that this is what the Ghanaian voter wants, you may have to probably do so.
Talking about free SHS, and we run out of time. I mean, I just spoke to the CHAS national secretary, and he says things are not looking good. I mean, they don't have food, they don't have anything. I mean, they are now advising parents to bring more provisions to their children in school so they can eat and all of that. The phrase just may appear like a good program on paper, but poorly implemented. Do you agree?
Well, it may have its challenges. In fact, it has its challenges.
Which you fail to address.
I am a member of the
you were in the education ministry.
I am a member of the education committee. There have been a number of times that we've raised these issues over and over and over again at the committee level.
For who to deal with?
For the Minister of Education to deal with.
And he never dealt with them?
Well, sometimes we get the promises. Sometimes later on when we call him to the committee, he is able to tell us that some payments have been made and all that. But that, as I said, as a nation, the free senior high school education, policy-wise, is one of the best policies that we've ever had in this country. However, we should be able to look at this implementation very well.
So then this is said they will look at it. What will you suggest?
First year, second year was fantastically implemented.
No, first year, second year, that was when the people were sleeping in dining halls and on verandas, etc., because of infrastructure challenges.
No.
That was the time people were sleeping on verandas and in dining halls.
No, that was not the first year.
That was the first year.
No, that was not the first year.
The first year of implementation.
No, that was actually the second, if you like, the third year. That was when we introduced the double track. We did a certain needs assessment at the Ministry of Education. That made us understand that there were some schools that needed dormitory blocks. There were some schools that needed, if you like, classrooms. Because you see, you go to a typical senior high school, you have a dormitory block.
Those lease assessments should have been done before the program started.
You have a dormitory block of dormitory block that is taking about 2,000 people, but you have a classroom blocks in the school that is taking 1,000. That means that when you go to a dormitory block, you have people sleeping, but in the classroom, you will not be able to have the 2,000 people being accommodated. So based on the needs assessment, we quickly had to make sure that we implement the double track. Then going forward, we will have some amount of expansion, which we did that in about 2 or 3 years.
So NDC says they'll look at the program again, they'll upgrade it, they'll make it nicer. They used to say review, but you guys said review meant cancel, so they changed the word. If you were to look at it again, what changes would you advise the NDC to make to the free SHS?
Well, I think that there should be sustainable resources to it. That is how come, as a member of the Education Committee, we made sure that the free SHS bill was
But you're running it for 7 years without a bill.
Yes, but you see, it's okay. It's better late than never. But as I said, per the Pre-Tertiary Education Act, we were mandated one way or the other to have that bill. That bill has been concluded. We were looking forward to be able to pass it in the 8th Parliament. Unfortunately for us, the NDC resisted that bill vehemently.
Actually, they resisted
it. They did, because you remember
the actions of the day.
No, it has been part of the other paper for about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, but you had 7 years.
It was being repeated.
You had 7 years to do that, and you don't do that at last minute. Anything could happen.
You have to work on it. You have it will have to go through stages, stakeholder consultations, and all that. The Education Committee will also have to take its time and work on it.
But you don't need 7. You don't need 7 years. You didn't need 7 years to do that.
We did not use 7 years to do that.
But the program started in 2017.
As far as I'm concerned, we started working on the education bill somewhere last year. So that means that we used about a year.
Yeah, but of course, I get the point when you started working. But the point I'm making is that knowing that this was important, you should have dealt with it way before.
That is okay. I always say that it's better late than never. But the NDC also had a role to make sure that we passed this free SHS bill. They failed for us to do.
But NDC is not in power. NDC wasn't in power.
They have a role to play in Parliament.
Government business.
Of course, they had. Yes. So for the first time,
they didn't have government.
So for the first time, you had the Speaker of Parliament dictating government business. For the first time, you had the minority.
So how did you dictate government?
Yes, because
how did you do it?
About 2 days before we rose, the Speaker of Parliament was able to tell us that, okay, this item on the other paper we will not take it, but this item we will take it. But that is the sole prerogative of the leader of government business.
But you have to pass the bill in 2 days or in 1 day.
It is possible. We have urgent bills.
No, but it was a free SHS an agent bill? It wasn't an agent bill.
You think it's not an?
No, I mean you had time. That's the point. Yes. So you don't pass it under a certificate of urgency. You had time to do it, but you didn't do it, and you want to force it through the last minute. And Charles and Nagrat and all of those guys have said that the bill lacked proper stakeholder consultation. But I think we'll talk more. I mean, we've run out of time. We've run out of time. That's Vincent Esefua, a member of Parliament for Otafo. He's returned to the House, and he's hoping he will hopefully be on the Education Committee, perhaps in some other committees of Parliament. He's been my guest tonight on Point Blank. This is how we conclude today's edition of the program. Came to you live from our studios here in Accra. Show produced by Nana Kobna Wilson. Sami, we are free. Technical assistance given by Daniel Squashi. Earlier you heard Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. My name is Selom. I don't know. Have a good evening. But in the meantime, the Carabao Cup semi-final between Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool Football Club at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sports team will be here to give you a pre-game analysis.
Yesterday, Arsenal lost.
Unfortunately, I mean, Newcastle did a good one.
Yesterday, Arsenal
I think Arsenal has a few issues.
They lost.
We'll deal with it.
Arsenal lost.
We'll deal with a few issues. All right, so have a good evening.
All right, thank you so much.